speaker, when he was listening to the God within and then at the same time speaking, the speaker and the listener and the speech all are Narayana. The speaker thinks that he is speaking. No, it's not true. The speaker is made to speak by the absolute speaker, that is Lord himself. And the listener within this subject, that is the speaker, is given that power to listen again from the source, that is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent God, that is Narayana. When this speaker, when I am speaking, I am made to speak after listening from the Lord. First of all, the Lord is making me to listen by giving His power, and the same Lord is making me to speak by giving His power. So the source is the Lord. The speaker, that is me, I should never claim any credit that I am the speaker. The moment I think that I am the speaker, there my ego comes in. In this particular case, even though the body is same, even though the body, mind and intellect is apparently being thought that it is me, the Damodar, who is the speaker, which is really not true. It is apparent. Here again it is borrowed from the Lord. Instead of saying borrowed, it is the Bhiksha from the Lord. The subject, the absolute omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent subject, that is the Lord himself. He makes this child to listen and then to speak. He gives the power to listen from within, and he gives the power to speak also from within. That's the beauty of the Lord. So, the speaker, the listener, the listening and the speaking, all the actions are given, are empowered rather by the Lord. The Shakti is the Lord. The source of the power is the Lord. In all these actions, the God is present. That's why He is called omniscient, He is called omnipotent, and He is called omnipresent. It is not one single atom or single space where the Lord is not existing. That's why Lord says in beautifully in Bhagavad Gita, Maya tadamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina matsami sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavaptita bhutabrunnacha bhutastu mama atma bhutavamana. He is the real Mayapati. It appears as if He is within us and then He is giving all the power, but at the same time He is not bound by our actions. He is not bound by our sins or the punya or the papa, whatever it is. His job is over by giving the power. His job is over by making us to listen. His job is over by making us to think. His job is over by making us to speak. But the discrimination that you are not the speaker, you are not the listener, and you are not the originator, and you are nothing. You are nothing. I am nothing. I exist because of Him. So how can the ego come? How can I say that I am the speaker? How can I say that I am the listener? How can I say that I have done this? How can I say that I have helped somebody? How can I say that I gave him the job? How can I say that I brought up that family? How can I say that I have educated my children? All these are okay in this physical world, but go into the subtle way. Go into the deep contemplation. You have borrowed, the speaker has borrowed from the Lord. The Lord has given out of His compassion, out of His grace, out of His love to this child, that is me. Whatever has been given by the compassion of the love from the Lord to this child, that is the speaker, the borrowed one is again being given. That's all. So I am not the owner of anything. How can I claim to be the owner? Either the money or the food or the property or the job or whatever it is, or the knowledge or the bhakti or the karma, whatever it is, I am not the owner. The point what we were discussing earlier was, within this subject there is that absolute subject, that is the God. Within the subject of the speaker, or within the subject of the listener, within the subject of any object, when it becomes a subject, within that particular subject also there is that absolute power, absolute source, or absolute eternal subject, that is the Atma of the God. Whatever you want to call, supernatural power, or Ananta, or Anadi, or Brahman, or Narayana, or Shiva, or Allah, or Jesus, or Buddha, whatever you want to call, Krishna, Rama, whatever the name, but remember the attitude, the concept of that God, that absolute God, who is all pervasive, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. He is the only absolute subject. He is the only absolute subject. All others are secondary subjects or reflected subjects or the borrowed subjects, or we can say the object. So that's the beauty. So the conclusion is, anything which is borrowed is not yours. It has to be given back. If you are not giving back, it will be taken back. That's simple. Because it's borrowed. It's just like you give somebody to something, and then you will wait for some time, and then you will ask, hey, give my thing back. If he doesn't give you, you threaten him, and then you take it. Or you go to the court, or you go to that thing, this thing, and then finally you try to possess it back. Because in this world, it's a physical possession. Even though the Lord Almighty is the absolute owner of everything, but in our ignorance or in our ajnana, we think that I am the owner of this, I am the owner of this house, I am the owner of this property, I am the owner of this land, I am the owner of this child, I am the owner of this wife, I am the owner of this friend, blah 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 blah. There are so many things. But am I really the owner? If you go deep into that subject itself, this body, physical body, is not created by me. It is not mine. I don't have the ownership on this because it is created by my parents. And there again, they have not created by themselves. They also borrowed the food, water, food, fire, space, air, everything, all these five subtle elements, like fire, like air, like space, like water, like earth. All these put together is called a body. So, this body is made up of five elements, fundamental elements, Panchabhuta: Bhumi, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala. So all these things have been borrowed and it has been created. And of course, the faculty of the mind is given in the gene by the Lord. It is borrowed. It is the grace of the Lord He has given out of His love to the child to think, to enjoy, or to feel happy, or to feel. It depends upon his action whether he wants to enjoy or feel sorrow. So, this body, this speaker, is made up of these 5 subtle elements, Panchaputras. So, once when it has been borrowed, then naturally it has to go back. What is the big deal in that? So, the owner will take each and every element, like earth, like fire, like water, like space, like voice, like air. So, it has to go back to their original source. So, we need not feel any bad about the death. It is not really death, it is going back to the source. It is going back to the subject. It is just like the parents build a house and then give it to their children, and their children will in turn transfer this property, sale deed or property deed or agreement or whatever you want to call, to their children, and so on it goes to the hereditary, to the next in line, next generation. They leave this and they go to the source. They will say, this is the one, it's a temporary thing, I have come here on a rental basis, I have borrowed this, and then I am paying the rent. Now I have finished, my ownership is over, so lease is over, so I have to get back to the source. Source is the Lord. Panchaputras, I go back and back. Suppose if I have a desire, then God says, okay dear child, you want to have one more, but come on, go and enjoy Asapa. He is very, 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 very equanimous and very, very, very generous and very, very impartial or unbiased. What you want, He gives. You have to enjoy or suffer depending upon your desire or ego or attitude or actions. It is the subject who has to enjoy or suffer. If the subject wants to enjoy or suffer, continuously in this vicious circle, they can enjoy or suffer in this vicious circle. But one day, remember, for every individual, every subject, every soul or every spirit or every jivatma or every ruh, in whatever the language you want to call, the Lord will make Himself the subject to realize one day that there is no end for this. And you cannot get this permanent happiness because it is borrowed. Because it is dependent on the objects. Once the object is removed, the happiness is lost. It becomes shaky. It loses its base. So you are feeling misery. For example, when the family is there with all of us, with me, like me, my children were there, my wife was there, and all these people were there, and then I was enjoying coming from the office with the children, with the wife, with the friends, with all the things, with the parties, with friends' parties, with office parties, everything, no, we enjoy. The moment we gradually, children grow and they go for education to hostel or colleges, and then children are not with you, though then only wife and husband. And then when maybe the parents become old, parents pass away, so there is no parents also with you, so you are yourself and your wife. Maybe then because of the responsibilities, like in every family's case, like in my case also, my wife goes to stay with my son or my daughter or my native place to look after something, to build a house or to take care of some activities for her brother's marriage, sister's marriage, and so many other responsibilities. When she goes away, I'll be alone.